Hey guys, John L here. Thought I would make a little fun video. So a while ago I found a PDF version of Nintendo Power 1. I don't have the physical magazine. I used to have many of the physical magazines, but like many people out there probably have experienced, they are, in some landfill somewhere, unfortunately. So it was nice to kind of cruise through this and check it out, and just brought back a lot of memories. There's a lot of just cool stuff, of course, and fun stuff that I kind of wanted to go through. So there are just like a few things that I wanted to look at and share. So we'll just cruise through the magazine. So this is the first one, and I remember getting this as a kid. I was like, I don't know, 7 or 8 or something like that whenever Nintendo Power started up. But it is pretty amazing considering I don't recall any other video game magazines existing at the time. So, if you were to create a whole new video game magazine out of the blue, it's like, what the heck would you put in there? What kind of content? And they kind of nailed it right from the start. I mean, I don't know if like other game magazines were around prior to Nintendo Power, but you see what they did, and magazines that came after it like EGM and GamePro and even Sega's magazine, Sega Visions, I think they all like kind of copied the format. And again, Nintendo could be copying the format of other like hobby magazines or something like that, but it's a really great magazine. Even if you look at it now, I really wish that Nintendo would put out some kind of digital version. A while ago, someone put out, I think the whole thing on some kind of archive, and Nintendo, nixed it really quick. Can't blame them because, they own it and everything like that. But, there's a ton of people like me who are out there who really, had a lot of fun reading Nintendo Power, and we don't have it, so it'd be awesome to, have some kind of digital version of it, and it's like another money stream. You guys could be making money, Nintendo. So anyways, they laid out a bunch of games, and look at the art. It's pretty awesome. Like, all this stuff is hand drawn. This is before, Photoshop and all that kind of stuff like that. People are just like so creative, and this isn't like the game art. I mean, you definitely didn't see this stuff on the package of Super Mario Brothers 2, but it's all the pages look really nice. Everything's delivered in just awesome kind of fun content and everything. I don't know why Mario is wearing some kind of inverted color overalls right there, but it's like they knew their target audience as kids, and it's a really great magazine. This is a really weird picture. I kind of remember this, but they took like some of the more popular games, and they would give you walkthroughs of the levels with maps and everything like this. And this stuff was like gold. When you were a kid, you just didn't have this kind of stuff. I remember when I picked up the Nintendo, there was a black book. It was like the Nintendo, I don't know, not Power, because it wasn't Nintendo Power, but like Strategies or whatever. And that had all the maps to like Castlevania and like Zelda and Metroid was huge because the game is huge, and you didn't have maps and all that kind of stuff like that. So just having that kind of stuff around was pretty awesome. And when you first got that card in your NES, not classic Nintendo, I can't remember the one with the gun. I didn't have Rob, but it had a card. Hey, do you want to sign up for Nintendo Power? And my parents were cool enough to like do it, just as many of your parents were probably cool enough to do it. And then you got this magazine that would come, and who knew? It was more than it was advertisements, obviously. I mean, they're putting all these maps and images and all that kind of stuff like that in to show you the games that you want to buy. But they're giving you all these like hints and tips and tricks and all that kind of stuff like that. That was just really awesome at the time. A lot of this stuff was super challenging. What is it? Right here, they're telling you about Zelda, hinting about, Second Quest, and then they're even like giving you this preview of Zelda 2 that's going to be coming out. Got you all excited. I think right here is, near the midpoint, and they're giving you a whole map of Hyrule. It's like, where are you going to get that? And then you had these like weird posters of definitely 80s, 90s looking stuff, a lot of teal and pink and pastels and stuff. They did a baseball roundup. This is hilarious because I take a look at baseball games these days and how realistic, and you see like what Nintendo baseball was like. And I remember playing, some of these games where, the whole outfield would move when you move the D-pad left and right. So, I don't know. I wasn't really a big Nintendo guy. I remember it was, like Bases Loaded and RBI Baseball and whatever. I remember seeing displays at, like, KB Toy Hobby with all three of them. They're all just duking it out trying to get money from kids to get you to buy their baseball game. And then they had, like, Counselor's Corner. And I remember they created this guy, Nestor, who, they had Howard and Nestor. And Howard was a cartoon of the president of Nintendo of North America, which was interesting. And Nestor was just this, I guess, cartoon creation that they came up with that kids could relate to. But, Ness and Nestor, obviously, they're just kind of, putting that together there. They had tips on Ghosts and Goblins and Ring King. Ring King was garbage. Metroid. This stuff is straight up from that big black book that I was mentioning. Super Mario Brothers tips, Kid Icarus. This is hilarious. Like, some of the tips that they give you are just so far off. Like this Castlevania thing. Just did the playthrough of Castlevania. They're telling you to use like the knife and the cross. Let me see. Oops. A boomerang or dagger. That's a lie. Anyways, that's so hard. I mean, like, and the best thing is, take a look at that picture. They're using the holy water. The holy water. That's the key. Same thing with Frankenstein. I don't know. Such lies. But let's see. Let's get back to this, and let's see. How did I have this set up? All right. And Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. And then they had a cartoon that they came up with. There's so much original art. Then they just gave you some like hints, and then they're gonna give you like more hints. But I guess these were kind of like the cheat codes and stuff. So they give you the Konami code. This is super cool. Like, if you ever wonder, I would say that this is the first appearance of the Konami code in Nintendo Power 1. This is how everybody knew, up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, and was it start? Rad Racer, more Punch-Out codes, Arkanoid. You get an idea of what the games were like. That I think this is like maybe the second or third year of Nintendo. They got Double Dragon. They're promoting this. Cool art right there. It's not like you really needed a map, but I guess that's helpful. And then, of course, they don't show you the map for 4, which is the actual hardest stage. And I mean, come on. They just, as a kid, obviously wouldn't pick it up, but, I mean, come on. You're fighting your brother. So they're showing some stuff on Gauntlet, some stuff on Contra. Again, definitely need like some help on Wheel of Fortune right here. And these video shorts, I think, were kind of like previews for upcoming games. So you see Legendary Wings. Alright. It's kind of funny because when I think back, and this is why I think if it was possible for Nintendo to put out some kind of collection of magazines, it would be great. And I know that, a lot of people would buy them, some kind of digital subscription, something like that, because my memory is hazy about like when these games came out. Like, I picture Legendary Wings as coming out way later than Super Mario Brothers 2, and apparently they were just right around the same time. Rambo's terrible. Dragon Power, which was Dragon Ball Z. Metal Gear Classic. It's so cool looking at this magazine because you just see like all these franchises that are like 30 years old, you know, got their start like right here. City Connection, Victory Road, which is terrible. Force Freedom Force, Pack Watch. It's kind of weird because some of these things are redundant. Again, these like video shorts, I don't know why. Well, I guess because they maybe had like images. And then Pack Watch is like just announcements of other games. Like I still don't know what Chesterfield is. But yeah, Golgo 13, 1943, Adventures of Link. They had so much stuff coming out. I mean, Jackal, Blaster Master, Life Force, Simon's Quest. And then, of course, you know, you have like the player's poll. I'm going to scroll through that because this is somebody's copy. But I believe that was where you could win a copy of Super Mario Brothers 2, which I super wanted. But, you know, obviously didn't win. And my parents were kind enough to buy it for me. So showing some like Japanese games. Oh, here you go. The official Nintendo Player's Guide. So that was the black book that had all the maps and the cool stuff way back when. They even had like this movie watch thing. They did like a really great job of just consolidating media, you know, for kids. I don't know why anybody would be 8 men out, but whatever. Kirk Cameron profile, needed that. Some letters. I think a lot of these are like questions on games and, you know, people bragging. So this is hilarious. This is one of the things that I had a lot of fun like reading through. Like just like looking at the score on Castlevania. So I don't know why you would be keeping score on Castlevania. You can just see how different games were back then to now. Because now, you know, you'd have to really kind of struggle to find a game that still keeps score that isn't like a classic arcade game anymore. But, you know, people are actually concerned. So, I mean, you know, as a kid, I remember looking at these scores like, oh my god, how do like these guys do it? And now I'd be like, well, someone just threw a clamp on like, you know, the A button on a NES Advantage or something like that and just killed a whole bunch of zombies in Castlevania, you know? Just like turn turbo up to like max, put themselves in a corner, and then, you know, just like went out for a walk or something. So then some of these are just like really funny. Like Duck Hunt. Who gets 970,000 in Duck Hunt? Like I don't know what's involved in getting 970,000 in Duck Hunt, but I think it's playing Duck Hunt for way longer than I would ever want to play Duck Hunt. So all these people with Excite Bike times, like, oh look, like this guy beat track 1. Like who didn't beat track 1? And this stuff is funny too. So I don't know how someone got 3,729,400 in Gradius. Maybe Steve Charleston of Lincoln, Nebraska just went through the game over and over and over. But I just think it's funny that his score is like 7 times like higher than Danny Metal of Miami, Florida. That's 7. 6. So anyways, that stuff's kind of fun. Karate Champ. Look at this. 148,050. So, and I don't know what they're doing to get 9,999,999 in Kid Icarus, but whatever. So yeah, everybody's same thing with Super Mario, probably just doing the turtle stomping trick. There's some other stories here, but so this is hilarious too. The top 30. So I think it's kind of funny. Like, yeah, 30 years later. Excuse me, we can take a look at Nintendo Power, and at the time we can see what people thought was awesome and like the best games ever, and like now we definitely have like different opinions, you know. So as of right now, I don't know what games are out, but you know, Legend of Zelda is number 1. Okay, that's legit, I can see that. Mike Tyson is 2. Metroid's 3. Okay, so far we still have like 3 classics up there. Super Mario Brothers, yes. Kid Icarus, I like Kid Icarus. RC Pro-Am, still a good game. Ice Hockey at 7's a little weird. Rad Racer at 8. Top Gun at 9? And then Double Dribble? So you'd be like, okay, well, if those are like the only games, maybe. But then, like, take a look. Coming in at number 12 is Castlevania. Somehow that didn't end up in like the top 5 or 10. So I just think that's like super hilarious. Like, how could you say like Top Gun is better than Castlevania? So you got Goonies 2, which is solid. Kung Fu, I like it. Wizards and Warriors, good game, not my thing. Mega Man's at 17. Freaking Mega Man. I mean, like, Mega Man's like a franchise right there, you know? So obviously people thought Mega Man was not as good as Rad Racer back then. So funny. Contra. I don't know how Contra gets beaten by baseball. If you've ever played baseball, well, I don't know. That should speak by itself. Same thing with Russian Attack. How is Russian Attack better than Contra? So, anyways, Ghosts and Goblins, the original Mario Bros. Renegade, Section Z, Gradius is pretty solid. Rygar. I like how they also do this top 30 where they break it down into like players, pros, and dealers. So, first of all, players. Yeah, okay, I get it. Like, you know, kids, whatever. Anybody who uses like a Nintendo, I would consider a player. Pro. So, I believe the definition of a pro is someone who gets paid for what they do. So, who the hell is getting paid to play Nintendo in like the late 80s? First question right there. Then dealers. So, okay, I mean, I don't know why dealers would be, you know, getting pulled on this kind of stuff because, you know, just because you sell a game doesn't mean you play a game. But it's kind of funny. So, oddly enough, I guess Mike Tyson's Punch-Out must have been, you know, out recently, but, you know, people thought it was better than Zelda. So, that's kind of hilarious. And then, yeah, we got Rad Racer really placing high again and beating out Castlevania and Contra and Mega Man, you know. So a lot of funny stuff here. And then the pros got it right. They picked Legend of Zelda and then Metroid. Side Pocket for some reason. I guess it was a different time. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be so impressed with like a pool game, but I think people just might have been like looking for different stuff back then. So I think it's just kind of hilarious, you know, how these games, you just look at these like top 30 lists and like, you know, there's just classics that are scattered all over here. And it's like, you know, they're getting beaten out by like Renegade. So, yeah, and then the next issue was Simon's Quest with the beheading of Dracula on it. And that wasn't as traumatic to me as other kids maybe, but anyways, so it was just really fun to find an issue of Nintendo Power out there and take a look at it and just see how things were back then as they are compared to now, and yeah, just get it kind of an idea of like what things, you know, where things came from, you know, because a lot of you know, modern gaming, you can just kind of get an idea of, you know, where it came from just by kind of cruising through an old Nintendo Power. So anyways, I hope that was as much fun for you guys as it was for me. And yeah, thanks for watching and take care, guys.